Miguel Santos pushed his cart down the empty corridor of St. Catherine's Hospital, the wheels squeaking against polished linoleum. 2 a.m., the graveyard shift, when the building felt more like a tomb than a place of healing. He was 44, but the mirror said older. Custodial staff, 3rd floor. Nobody knew his name. Nobody asked. That's how he wanted it. 6 years ago, Miguel had been a different man. He taught music at Roosevelt Middle School in Houston, guitar, piano, helping kids find their voice through melody. He had a wife, Carmen, who managed a bakery, and they had Sophia. Sophia was 8 when the hurricane hit. They'd evacuated like they were supposed to, but on the highway, a semi jackknifed in the rain. Carmen survived with a shattered leg. Sophia didn't make it to the hospital. Carmen left a year later, not because she stopped loving him, but because every time she looked at Miguel, she saw their daughter's empty chair at the breakfast table. Miguel stopped teaching, stopped playing music. The guitar gathered dust in a storage unit somewhere in Austin, where he'd moved to disappear. Now he cleaned hospital rooms and tried not to think. But on the 3rd floor, in the family waiting area outside the ICU, there was a boy. His name was David Chen, 11 years old, small for his age, with thick-rimmed glasses that kept sliding down his nose. His father had been in a coma for 5 weeks after a construction accident. Traumatic brain injury. The doctors said things like, "Wait and see," and "Prepare yourself." David's mother, Dr. Lisa Chen, a cardiac surgeon at the same hospital, worked 80-hour weeks. She was brilliant, respected, powerful in the operating room, but with her son, she was lost. David had stopped speaking 3 weeks ago. Selective mutism, the hospital psychiatrist called it. He'd sit in that waiting room every night after school, staring at nothing, clutching a baseball his father had given him. Miguel noticed him because the boy reminded him of someone. Not Sophia. Sophia was loud, fearless, always singing. But the way David folded into himself, like he was trying to take up less space in the world, Miguel knew that feeling. It started small. One night, Miguel was emptying trash cans when he saw David drop the baseball. It rolled under a chair. The boy just stared at it, didn't move to pick it up. Miguel walked over slowly, retrieved it, and held it out. David looked up but didn't take it. Miguel sat down 2 chairs away, not too close, and examined the baseball. The leather was worn, stitches fraying. Someone had written on it in faded marker, "You got this, champ. Dad." "My daughter used to collect rocks," Miguel said quietly, not looking at the boy. "Everywhere we went, she'd find one. Kept them in a shoebox under her bed. After she was gone, I couldn't look at them, but I couldn't throw them away either." David's eyes flickered toward him. "I finally opened that box last year, and you know what? Holding those rocks, I could remember her laugh, the way she'd get excited about the weird-shaped ones. It hurt, but it was good hurt, the kind that means the love was real." He set the baseball gently on the chair between them and stood up. "Your dad's still fighting, and so are you." He walked away. The next night, David was in the same spot. When Miguel passed by, the boy held up the baseball, just a little, like a silent greeting. Miguel nodded. That became their routine. Dr. Lisa Chen first noticed Miguel 2 weeks later. She'd just finished a 14-hour surgery, came upstairs to check on her son, and found him sitting with the custodian. They weren't talking. David still wasn't speaking, but Miguel had a harmonica, playing soft, simple melodies. David was listening, actually present for the first time in weeks. Lisa watched from the doorway, tears streaming down her face. When Miguel finished, he saw her. He stood quickly, apologetic. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to—" "Who are you?" Lisa asked, not angry, just desperate to understand. "Just the custodian."
"You're not just anything." She stepped closer. "My son hasn't responded to anyone, not his therapist, not me. But you, what did you do?" Miguel looked uncomfortable. "I didn't do anything. I just sat with him." "Why?" He hesitated. "Because I know what it's like to lose someone and have everyone tell you to stay strong when all you want is permission to fall apart." Lisa studied him, really looked at him. "You lost someone." "My daughter, 6 years ago." The hallway went quiet, except for the distant beep of monitors. "I'm sorry," Lisa whispered. "Me too, about your husband." Lisa did what any mother would do. She looked into Miguel's background. Miguel Santos, 44, bachelor's degree in music education, University of Houston, taught middle school for 9 years. Wife, Carmen Santos, divorced. Daughter, Sofia Santos, deceased at age 8. No criminal record, no red flags, just a man who'd been shattered and never quite put himself back together. Lisa made a decision. She approached Miguel in the cafeteria during his break. "I want to hire you," she said. Miguel looked up from his coffee, confused. "Ma'am, I already work here." "Not as a custodian, to spend time with David, officially." "I'm not qualified." "You're the only person who's reached him." Her voice cracked. "I'm a surgeon. I can fix hearts, but I can't fix my own son's heart. Please." Miguel stared at his hands that once coaxed music from strings, now only pushed mops and emptied trash. "I don't know if I can help him," Miguel said quietly. "You already have." The hospital board wasn't happy. "You want to hire a janitor with no credentials to work with your son?" The hospital administrator, Mr. Brennan, was incredulous. "He's not treating him," Lisa argued. "He's just being present." "That's not how this works, Dr. Chen. If something goes wrong—" "My son hasn't spoken in a month. He's disappearing in front of me. What exactly could go wrong that's worse than that?" Silence. Lisa continued, her voice steel. "I'm not asking for permission. I'm informing you. Miguel Santos will spend 2 hours a day with my son. I'll pay him personally. If you have an issue with that, we can discuss my resignation." They didn't push back after that. Miguel started coming to the waiting room during his breaks. He'd bring small things from thrift stores, a wooden puzzle, a kazoo, origami paper. Never forced David to interact, just created space for possibility. One day, Miguel brought a ukulele, smaller than a guitar, less intimidating. "I used to teach music. Haven't played in years, probably terrible now." He strummed a simple chord, then another. And then, barely audible, David hummed along. Miguel stopped, looked at him. David's eyes were wet, but he was humming. Miguel kept playing, and for the first time since the accident, David made a sound that wasn't crying.
Word spread through the hospital. The custodian who helped the surgeon's son. Some staff thought it was beautiful. Others whispered that Dr. Chen was having a breakdown, projecting her grief onto an unqualified stranger. One nurse reported it to Child Services, anonymously. When the social worker arrived, Lisa was ready. She had documentation, David's therapist noting gradual improvement, school reports showing he'd started participating in class again, even video footage of David smiling, actually smiling, while Miguel played music. "Is this man a danger to your son?" the social worker asked. "No," Lisa said firmly. "He's the reason my son is still here." The investigation closed within a week. Then everything fell apart. David's father, Robert Chen, died on a Tuesday morning. His brain never recovered from the swelling. After 5 weeks of hoping, the machines were turned off. David was at school when it happened. Lisa had to pick him up,
take him to the hospital, and tell him his father was gone. David didn't cry, didn't react, just stared. That night, he disappeared. Lisa called Miguel, frantic. "He's gone. He's not at home, not at school." "I know where he is," Miguel said. The construction site where Robert had fallen was shut down, wrapped in caution tape and chain-link fence. Miguel climbed through a gap, found David sitting in the dirt near a pile of steel beams. The boy was holding the baseball, rocking slightly. Miguel sat down beside him, didn't speak for a long time. Finally, David whispered, "He's not coming back." "No," Miguel said gently, "he's not." David looked at him, eyes red. "Does it ever stop hurting?" Miguel thought about Sophia, about the rocks in the shoebox, about the guitar he still couldn't play. "No," he said honestly, "but it changes. The hurt becomes part of you, and eventually you learn to carry it without it crushing you." "How?" "You let people help. You keep living. You remember them by becoming someone they'd be proud of." David finally cried. Miguel held him while he did. 3 months later, Miguel stood in front of a small community center in East Austin. The sign read, "Sophia's Place, Music and Grief Support for Kids." Inside, 12 children sat in a circle. Some had lost parents, some had lost siblings. All of them carried weight too heavy for their small shoulders. Miguel held his guitar for the first time in 6 years. "My name is Miguel, and I lost my daughter. Her name was Sophia. She loved music, even though I was the one who was supposed to be the musician." He strummed a chord, shaky but real. "This place isn't about forgetting the people we love. It's about keeping them alive in here." He touched his chest. "Through the things we do, the way we help each other." David, sitting in the front row, raised his hand. "Yes, David? Can I learn to play too, so I can remember my dad?" Miguel smiled, tears in his eyes. "Yeah, champ, you got this." Miguel still works the night shift at St. Catherine's, still pushes the same squeaky cart. But now, 3 evenings a week, he teaches music to kids who need it. Not to fix them, just to sit with them while they fix themselves. Sophia's Place isn't famous. No viral videos, no press conferences. Just a room where broken people learn to make beautiful sounds together. And sometimes, that's miracle enough. If this story touched you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it to someone who needs to hear this.